Hey friends, I know it's been a minute, but I am back with another reaction video. This one, a young lady went to get her hair braided, and obviously, as we can tell, it's not finished. And we're gonna get into it, and like I always do, I'm going to react from a place of a stylist. Just kind of from, like what could have been done differently, etc., etc. So, let's get into it.
Y'all, I done got. You probably thinking, Nikita, why your hair halfway done? Why is one part done and the other part is not done? I'm gonna tell you a story how I didn't got by one of these stylists, y'all. Y'all don't understand. I'm so irritated. Not even the fact that my hair is not done. I'm irritated by the fact that there is an influx of these women calling themselves entrepreneurs and business owners but don't know how to conduct themselves. So I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. Y'all tell me what y'all think. So I booked with this stylist for some boho knotless braids, right? And anytime I book with anybody, I always follow their policy, always follow they, whatever guidelines they have to doing hair, because I respect people's policies, I respect people's craft. So I go to reading through her policy. I see that she says, if you have plans that day, do not come to me because I will not rush my work. Understandable. I totally get that. So I sent her the security deposit. Boom. I booked for a Friday where I had no plans. I had nothing to do. My appointment was set, right? So she says that she will email you or text you her address of the location a day before, actually the night of your appointment. So I never received any communication. Mind you, it's the night before my appointment. So I'm like, okay, where's the email? The email slot where it usually has the location is blank. And I'll leave some screenshots so y'all know I ain't playing. So she ended up responding with, hey, do you think that you can reschedule your appointment? Are you available a different day? No, I'm not available a different day. That's why I booked for Friday, because I know I have plans the next day, which is Saturday. So I told her this is an extreme inconvenience to me because I have plans on Saturday. And then I asked for a discount if we had to move my appointment, because she said she could do a Saturday. So I said, okay, fine, you could do a Saturday. Thank you for accommodating me. So my appointment was at 7 a.m. on Saturday. So I pull up, of course, Saturday, promptly at 7 a.m. on time, of course. I go to the door. The door is locked because she's not there yet. Of course, she ended up cruising it like about 5 minutes later after my appointment was due to start. And I said, okay, fine, because I wasn't expecting her to be on time anyway, which is sad because now I expect stylists to be late, especially if it's that early. So it wasn't no big. I'm always early to my appointments, and I wait to the exact time to walk up to the establishment. But she wasn't there. I didn't even see her car. But eventually she pulled up. We walked in together, no problem. So as she doing my hair, mind you, it's 7 o'clock in the morning when she started. And it's going on 11 a.m., right? So I'm starting to get a little bit of concern because I had plans for Saturday. She asked me in the messages if I had plans on Saturday. I said, yes, I do have plans, but it'll be after my hair is done. So I'm looking at my braids. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, it's only a little bit of braids and it's already 11 o'clock. She not really moving like that fast, which is totally fine. My issue was she kept texting and she kept sending messages while she was doing my hair. So that's why I was like looking at my braids and I was looking at what she was doing. She wasn't braiding. She was doing more texting than she was braiding.
So let me stop right there and say that for myself, right? I have a thing with using the phone while servicing clients. I really do believe that you guys are paying for that time slot. So you are paying for me to be with you, right? From whatever time we agree to start to whatever time I say that the appointment is going to be done, right? Now, if I am like working and let's say someone calls, like maybe the kids' school or something like that, I will excuse myself, like not excuse and like leave the chair, but I will tell my client like, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second. But I'm still working and moving. Also, for myself personally, if the only way that I'm going to answer a text message back is if it's one of my children texting me, because all the adults in my life know what I do for a living, and I've set the boundary a long time ago that I won't just sit on the phone with you while I'm working. And even if it is one of the children, like depending on the client, like if it's one of my like regulars that I'm cool with, I will literally hand one of my, like, cause they become my homegirls. I'll hand them a phone and be like, hey, can you do me a favor? I don't want to stop. Can you text Stink back and just tell them XYZ? Or I'll stop and send a voice message. Or if it's something really, really quick, I'll say, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Let me text Stink back real quick. However, number one, I move fast. Number two, that is not an all the time thing. And number three, like, I just feel like, they always say you never get a second chance to make a first impression, right? So you've already blown it with this young lady. Like, it's already, they blew it. You know what I mean? She blew it. And then obviously, like, this girl has a head full of hair. So you know you're finna be there for a minute. So you should be trying to figure out how you can maximize your time and get this lady in and out and with the quality that she's expecting, because you were supposed to have her yesterday. Now it's the next day and she has somewhere to be. And then I understand why she asked, like, okay, well, what time are your plans? If I was the client, I would not have told her whenever my hair is done, because this young lady already doesn't seem to have any sense of urgency. You know what I mean? So if my appointment was at 7, let's say that I had something to do at 4, I'd have told her I need to be done by 2. Because some people just genuinely move slow, but obviously this young lady has no respect or consideration for this client's time. Yes, things happen, right? Yes, there are times that we have to reschedule. Yes, things happen. But there is a way, like, to make sure that your clients know that you still respect them and respect their time, right? And for me, for instance, I've said this before. I know that some people feel like they don't have to explain themselves when it comes to business, but for me, I do explain myself, because I want my clients to know, hey, this is what's going on. I'm not just playing in your face, right? So for instance, I had a client, it was last Tuesday, and I had agreed to pick my grandmother up from her doctor's appointment. And this client is a regular, so she knows I'm not always canceling. I'm not always rescheduling. So if I am, it's something important. However, I'm also one of those people that try to make sure that I do my best to accommodate you. But my clients also know that they can make their plans by me. So I did explain to her, because her appointment was a squeeze in. But I did explain to her, like, hey, because she was like, well, what time can you take me? And I said, well, let's do 11:30, because I have to pick Granny up from the doctor. And she was like, okay, cool. So I want to say I got to her doctor's office about 10, and by 10:30 she wasn't out yet. I made sure I texted my client and said, hey, just a heads up, I'm still here. I think where my grandmother lives, between where she lives and like her doctor's office, it's about a good hour away from my house. So I knew for a fact that I was not going to make it back in time. And I texted her and I let her know, hey, this is what's going on with Granny. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it by 11:30, but I don't want you driving over there for no reason. So can we push it back a little bit? And she was like, yeah, sure. She's like, how does 1-ish sound? And I'm like, 1 would be perfect. But it's all about communication. You don't wait for the client to text you first. And I feel like that's partially why a lot of clients get frustrated, is because they should not have to text you first if you knew that something came up. And at the same time, like I said, obviously we're all human and things happen and things come up. But clients are a lot more flexible and understanding when you're letting them know what's going on. It could be something as small as, like, my kid had an assembly this morning and it's running over. I'm going to be about 20 minutes late. Another thing, however, is holding yourself to the same standard that you hold your clients to. So for myself, I have a late policy for myself that every minute after 15 minutes that I am late, I deduct $5. Now, I'm rarely ever late, but I do this because a lot of people in my industry have these policies, right? And they're like, oh, after 15 minutes, you're canceled. After 10 minutes, after 5 minutes, after however many minutes, your appointment is canceled, right? Or if I do decide to take you, it's a late fee. And a lot of clients, I've heard so many clients say, okay, well, what about when you do this to me? Like, what is it? Like, what do I get? Or y'all don't seem to care about my time. And so for myself, I do it as a means of, hey, I do care. Hey, I'm holding myself responsible as well. But I'm really big on time, so I don't need to necessarily charge myself to ensure that I'm on time. I just do it so that my clients understand that their time is just as valuable to me as mine is to them, right? So I feel like I said, what I would have done myself is, if I knew that I was running behind, or I knew that maybe I braid a little slower, or this girl has somewhere to be and I already kind of dropped the ball the day before, I'm going to call somebody in to help me braid down so that this girl is not here all day. And I'm damn sure not going to be on my phone. And like I said, if it's somebody in my life that is where it's that important where they need to reach out, they're not going to reach out by text. They're going to pick up the phone and they're going to call. And I know how to talk and work. I won't just sit there and be on the phone with my client because I just think that's rude. But I will, like I said, I will say, I'm sorry, I have to take this. And I'll answer, but I'm working. Like, I got my AirPod in my ear. I got, my Apple Watch. I have all these other mediums where I don't need to pick up my phone and actually physically be fondling with my phone while I'm supposed to be servicing my client.
And that's why in the length of 4 hours, I only have 20 braids done. So I'm starting to get concerned. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, we ain't gonna finish in time. Because mind you, I have a lot of hair and my head is big. So I asked her, I said, I'm looking at my hair while she texting. I'm like, do you know how long this is gonna take? Or do you know when you're gonna be done? And I could just see this anger overtake her. I could see that she got mad and irritated with me asking a question. And I understood why, because her policy said don't have any plans. That's why I booked for Friday. And she canceled knowing that I had plans. I didn't tell her the time because I'm looking at the email that she sent, which said that the style should take 8 hours. So doing simple math, I said 7 a.m. she should be done no later than 4 p.m. and that would be okay. But while I'm looking at these braids, the size of these braids, and that she keep texting and doing whatever she doing on the side, I'm like, this is going to take way longer because she keeps stopping and I have a lot of hair, so we probably not going to finish till 6 or 7, and that's way past 8 hours. So she got an attitude. She was like, that's why I told you not to book. That's why I said on my policy not to book if you have something going on. And she said it with attitude. I'm like,
okay, so I always say that there are a lot of people in this industry that are very talented but are not people-y. And I feel like those kind of people, instead of them taking clients, sorry, y'all, this was bothering me. Instead of them taking clients, like, do something else. Like, braid wigs or something. Or, do YouTube tutorials. Like, maybe working with the public is not for you. Because for you to, like lash out at this young lady and say, oh, well, that's why I said book on a day or book for something when you don't have anything to do. Ma'am, I did. And you rescheduled me. And you asked me what I had to do. This is why I said when that young lady had asked her, what time are your plans? She should have gave her a time. And she should have gave her a time earlier than when she needed to be done. Because this girl doesn't have any, like I said, she don't have any consideration. Yes, some people move slow, but you just generally don't give a shit. Like, you want to collect the dough and keep it pushing. And that's fine. But make this your hustle then and not your business. Because there's some people that'll just mess with you because this is your side hustle. And they know, okay, she probably gonna take all day. She probably gonna be a little ghetto, whatever. But I'm gonna get done what I need to get done. That's one thing. But when people are walking into your establishment and they're expecting a certain level of professionalism, and this is how you're treating people, these are the things that make our industry look bad. And it makes it harder for those of us that genuinely care and are working to improve the state of our industry.
Why are you the one with the attitude? She said, because on my policy it says don't have any plans. I said, right, that's why I booked on Friday, but you end up canceling my appointment and you asked me if I had plans, and I said yes after my hair is done. But that's with the expectation of it taking 8 hours. 8 hours. That's what I was expecting. But looking at the size of these braids and how long you're taking, I know it's going to take longer than that because you keep texting, you keep stopping. Mind you, when I put up for my appointment, she didn't even have the hair. So she had to leave to go get the hair. And then she going to end up telling me in one of the messages when I messaged her for the address, oh, I forgot you had an appointment. I forgot that I rescheduled your appointment. And I'm going to leave screenshots just in case y'all don't believe me. I'm going to leave screenshots of the entire conversation. But because of her tone and her attitude, I said, you know what? It's cool. 'Cause I could feel me starting to get angry. I could feel me wanting to go back and forth. I said, you know what? God, deliver me from this. And I'm going to end up arguing with this little girl. Because mind you, I could tell she young-minded. I could tell she's silly in her mind still by the way she talked and the way she was addressing it.
Wait, like, no. It says she said you was pressed to ask for a discount. Like, duh, you canceled my appointment the night before. I don't feel like a discount is unfair for the situation. I will say, however, and I always say, like, when I say these type of things, I know that it's gonna sound crazy coming from somebody in the industry, but it makes like whether you place a deposit or you are just walking in or you are just inquiring, the red flags be there. And this is not the client shame or blame, but the red flags be there. I will text a client, like, for instance, the only way that I'm not going to be fully prepared is if somebody books like last minute. And I usually am still really good with that because I keep everything on hand. But let's just say, for argument's sake, one of my, like, because it's usually regulars. Like, so let's say one of my regulars, right, text me and say, oh, can I get 2 braids for tomorrow? And I'd be like, yeah, what color do you want? And they say, oh, I don't know. Like, they say, oh, I want a 350 this time. And let's say, for argument's sake, I don't have 350. I will do one of 2 things. I will text them and say, hey, I don't have any 350 on me. Are there any other colors? This is what I have in my inventory. Are there any colors that you're okay with? Or do you mind if we start a little later because I'm going to need to run to the beauty supply store first? In this situation, you already look bad because how do you not have the hair when you were supposed to do my hair yesterday? So what you mean you don't have the hair? And then to say, oh, well, I can start it and then I can stop and go get some more. No. See, the thing is you're not even supposed to let your clients know that there's any issue going on. Like, you're supposed to be so smooth with it, the client never even knew. So, for example, once again, employ the people around you. So you could have, if you didn't have a hair, you could have started with what you had and hit up one of your homegirls or something and said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you go run to XYZ store and grab this and this for me because I got a client, yada, 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 yada. There's so many ways around things. Like, I just think that, you know, this is one of those young ladies that she likes the money that comes with what she does, but she doesn't really take her clients themselves serious. And I could speak for that because when I was young and dumb, I was so thirsty for the money that I completely, you know, I'm not going to say I forgot, but I was so thirsty for the money that I wasn't considerate of the people that was bringing the money to me. Does that make sense? Like, okay, this bill can get paid. I'm making more money than I've ever made before. Okay, let me get these people in and out. You know, yeah, her hair is going to be cute, whatever. But the experience was lacking. The customer service was lacking. Same thing, like I had a client that came to me a couple years ago and did tell me, like, I used to love how you did my hair, but I was coming from far and you was late all the time. And I felt so bad, and I told her, you know what? I sincerely apologize. During that time, I was going through some things that has nothing to do with you. It's not your problem, but I do want you to know that is one of the things that I have worked on changing when it comes to my business. And it's been XYZ many years since I've seen you, but I'm really big on punctuality now. My clients now don't have that problem. And while I can't take back what you went through a couple of years ago, I do want you to know that I have definitely, like, grown and moved on from that behavior. Like, these people now, I think, you know, when people say that social media has ruined a lot of people's attitudes and energies, I definitely have to agree, because people just see the money and they want to floss certain shit, and they totally forget that, like, there are human beings attached to these services that they're coming to. There are human beings attached to this money, and clients pay for the experience. I think people forget that. Like, clients pay for the experience. This is supposed to be pampering. So one of the things that I always say is yes, this industry is a luxury industry, meaning that as much as we like to think that we are a necessity, we are not. When inflation happens, when a recession happens, sometimes clients have to scale back. But those ones that really rock with you and how you take care of them, they might not be able to get the $700 service, but they're going to try to come get you for something that they can afford. But when you treat people like shit, it's like you're going to look up one day, you're not going to have any clients. Or somebody's going to be coming to you and they're having a bad day and they're going to give you what you're asking for.
Oh, you wrong. You told me that you could do my hair. I didn't say, okay, hurry up and finish. I'm just saying, like, how long do you think it's going to take? Because I told you I have plans on Saturday. That's why I booked for Friday. And you're going to say on your policy, that's why I say not to have plans. Right. That's why I booked on Friday. And you canceled me the night before my appointment. It's not like you messaged me to cancel. I messaged you for the address, and that's when you told me you couldn't do my hair. I didn't. I'm really upset. Not even the fact that my hair is not done, because it's nothing for me to just get a wig. It's nothing for me to take these few braids out. But it's just the principle that you think that y'all stylists. The problem is y'all write these policies, but y'all don't follow y'all own policies. The point of a policy is that both parties have to follow said policy. If both parties don't follow said policy is null and void. Because I got there before you. You pulling up late. You didn't have my hair. Then you talking about something, you forgot about my appointment. You did not forget about my appointment. You were hoping that I forgot about my appointment. But it's cool. I'm about to take these braids out. My girl Quetta said she's going to do me a little silk press if she can. If not, I'm just going to get a wig. At this point, I'm so tired of going to these girls. I'm so tired of spending all my hard-earned money with these girls. And the problem that I noticed, the problem that I noticed is that it be these young girls who just getting started out in the industry. They don't know the difference between doing what's right and doing what's wrong. You're supposed to honor your own.
Okay, so for this one, I'm going to have to disagree. I'm not going to disagree with her experience because that may be true for her experience. But as someone that has dealt with everybody in all capacities, all races, all ages, whatever, humans are just ghetto. That's what it is. Humans are just ghetto. And we live in a generation now where I always say, like, yes, there's Gen X and Gen Z and millennials and yada, 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 right? But this has been, to me, I feel like this has been one of the only times where all of the generations have mixed and mingled together to the point where everybody seems to want to act alike. So I remember, like, when I was a kid, I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 1990. I can remember when, like, my mom and my aunties or whatever, they went out, right? They went out to the club. And I used to want to, like, do what they was doing. I wanted to be like them, right? And then when I got older, they were still doing what they was doing, but they was doing it with their age bracket. Like, they wasn't trying to be in the club with 19-year-old me. Now you have the 40-somethings trying to financially compete with the 20-somethings, and the 20-somethings are acting one way, but they're looking a lot older. Like, it's just a whole jumbo pile of bullcrap, right? And what's happening is, like I said, a lot of this, unfortunately, a lot of these people that act like this is just a money play. It's not even about age. It's, I'm finna get this much off of her, and then I could buy this, and I could do that. And I think that is where, when a lot of clients say, oh, y'all just want us to fund y'all lifestyle. It's like, well, obviously everybody goes to a job to make their money to be able to take care of themselves. But it's like, when you're starting to treat me like a number and not like a person, is, I feel like, when they begin to feel that way, right? I felt bad because she said, like, I'm a good client and I follow the rules. And it's just like, it's not about being a good or a bad client. It's just, I feel like I've said this so many times, but just in life in general, it's about being a good person. I always say, like, customer service is literally like treating people how you want to be treated. That's literally all it is. It's like, okay, if this was me in this chair, how would I feel? You know what I mean? So I don't even think that it's the fact that they're new to the game. I think it's the fact that they just don't care, because whether you're new to the game or you're 15 years in, if you're going to be trash, you're going to be trash. You have to choose to be different. You have to choose to want a different, legacy for your brand. Like, I get it. I get where she's coming from with that, but I really just feel like humans are just ghetto. Like, and because I'm going to come back with some other videos in a different one, but I've even seen, like, where people, it ain't just us, we like to say, oh, black people because we're black, but I'm seeing, issues with people in their own, or, Hispanic people in their own, or people in New York, or people in wherever it is, right? I feel like we're in a place right now, especially with the way that money and finances are going, where like I said, the best thing that you could be is compassionate and be grateful. When clients stop getting looked at as dollar signs is when the industry will change for those particular experiences, because there are some of us that still do things the old school way. There are some of us that actually love what we do. There are some of us that really do take pride in how, what our clients are leaving with. And I'm not talking about just the hairstyle or just the service. I'm talking about, you don't know how you can, like, feed someone's spirit just by them sitting in your chair. I've always said this. We are there for the most important events in people's lives. Deaths, births, graduations, first day of schools, new job, retirement party, whatever it is. We're there for all of that. And I've had clients come in here and their entire world is crashing down. I've had clients that, like, literally lost their child a day or two before. And all they wanted to do was come see me because everything on the outside was ghetto for them. Like, you just don't know what you're doing to people. And one of the biggest things that sticks with me is, I heard this young lady say, she said, a lot of the times people want their ministry to be this big old church or this big old stage and platform when you don't even realize your ministry could just be you standing behind your chair. Your ministry could be the way that you talk to your clients. You don't know what you're giving them. And so think about that. F the dollar amount, right? Because if this was your purpose, if this was something that you truly and genuinely love to do, you'd be sowing into the people that's in your chair. And I'm not saying you got to go and preach no long ass sermon. I'm just saying you can simply minister to somebody just by showing them love. Just by being kind, bro. Like, stop making everything about the money. One of the things for me that I learned was when you really truly walk in this, whatever this is for you, everything you need will come. And this is why a lot of these people are cranky and they rude and they give clients a hard time, because you're so focused on the dollar amount. That's why when clients are asking genuine questions like, hey, I have alopecia, do you work on my hair type? And you're irritated because they asked you a question. Well, ma'am, they don't know you. They're not trying to be difficult. And I've also had to learn, because I get irritated every now and then. I'm human. I'm not perfect. But I've had to learn also that, like, some clients they got such bad PTSD from talking to and dealing with people that they don't mean to be annoying, but they just want to make sure that all their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted, because they'll get to a stylist and the stylist moves the goalpost and they be like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this and this and this.
Policy. The reason I left was not because she wouldn't finish in time, it was because her tone and her attitude was foul, and I wasn't about to have her in my hair like that. Tired of, like, I never had any problems with no other stylist ever.